Thanks for that, Troy. Soon, President Trump will be wheels up from Qatar to the United Arab Emirates, the final stop on this 4-day trip to the Middle East.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Turkey right now, and this as Russian and Ukrainian officials gear up for ceasefire talks. Let's go ahead and bring in CBS News correspondent Jared Hill live in New York for us this morning with all the details. Jared, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sandra and Chris. I was just checking to see some of the latest updates here as President Trump meets with members of the military overseas right now. There are a number of goals for the White House with this trip to the Middle East. One of the big ones is dealing with national security. It appears that President Trump was optimistic about negotiations with Iran to curb their nuclear program, but he still appealed to Qatar for help while touting major economic deals. This morning for President Donald Trump, a focus on the money. The president at a business roundtable in Doha after signing agreements with Qatar that the White House says will generate at least $1 trillion.
We are going to protect this country. It's a very special place.
Later, shifting to national security with a visit to a U.S. Central Command air base. It wraps up the second leg of Trump's Middle East tour, which included a lavish welcome complete with Cybertrucks and camels. Yesterday, President Trump and Qatar's emir watched as Boeing and Qatar Airways signed a deal to buy billions of dollars worth of planes from the American company.
It's the largest order of jets in the history of Boeing. That's pretty good.
FIFA's president stood by as the emir presented President Trump with a soccer ball, with the World Cup moving from Qatar to North America next year. Today, the third and final stop of the president's trip, taking him to the United Arab Emirates. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Turkey, meeting with his Ukrainian and NATO counterparts to discuss a pathway to peace between Russia and Ukraine.
This war is going to end not through a military solution, but through a diplomatic one.
Representatives from both countries are also there for direct ceasefire negotiations. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to be in Turkey, but Putin is not. Today we did see Ukraine's president challenging Putin to join him on those talks there for ceasefire. Back to you.
All right, let's stay with that Turkey gathering, Jared. Is there any update from the White House about if Trump will still get directly involved in that Ukraine-Russia ceasefire talk?
So we have heard from President Trump this morning saying that he would go to Turkey for those talks tomorrow, quote, if it's appropriate. What does appropriate mean? What kind of conditions would there be needed for that? It's not quite clear. It's presumed that it would be, really hinging on whether Vladimir Putin ends up going to those talks as well. Back to you.
All right, CBS News' Jared Hill live in New York for us this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you, Jared.